So, Mrs. Mullen,
Yes.
what's it like for a woman to be in the military?
Okay. My military service was back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I can only speak to what it was like then. What I found was that I enjoyed the military. I had very little problems. I worked with, the majority of people I worked with were all men. And I found that, if I pulled my weight and I expected respect from them, I was treated respectfully. There's always some, guy in the crowd who thinks, as far as like sexual harassment,
Yeah.
it was still very prevalent in the military in the 80s, very prevalent. I would say that there was no female that I knew that didn't experience it. And each woman would handle it differently. Typically, I found that if you were very straightforward, if someone was harassing you, you just tell them it's not acceptable, and you turn them in, and they'd back you up on it. Like your boss or the people in charge. So I didn't have a problem. I enjoyed the military.
Okay, so when you were working in the workplace, were there any kinds of gaps or like differences between a man and a woman?
Well, yeah. In fact, the career that I had after the military was predominantly male. It was a telephone. I installed telephones, so mostly I worked with men. And I did find that if we were sitting in a meeting, they would expect me to take the notes, and the men were expected just to sit there and they'd make comments about bring me coffee or whatever. There were gaps in opportunities, more so than salaries at the level I was. I did not get the opportunities that the guys did, and it was very, very frustrating. But eventually they would recognize some of my stronger attributes, and I was rewarded for those. So again, it was just doing the right thing and being rewarded for it.
So do you believe that women have to try harder to get higher than men do?
Mm-hmm. I haven't worked in 10 years out of the home. And at the time that I was working, absolutely. In a male-dominated career field like I had, I found that they were just waiting for you to make a mistake. And they loved for you to make a mistake, and they'd never let you live it down. I did find that I had to really try harder. But again, I was always rewarded for it too. So.
Okay. Are the roles at home, between your husband and you, are they more traditional, or are they shared equally?
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been married for 22 years, and initially I worked very, very hard to try and balance everything, to make sure that we both could cover each other. I never wanted to baby him or to expect him to always mow the lawn or whatever.
Yeah.
Initially, we did share things very much so, with the exception of he will not clean toilets, and I will not let him wash the clothes.
Yeah.
Because he's ruined too many things. But eventually, once we had kids, we just realized that he would sleep through a crying baby, and I couldn't sleep through a crying baby. So I think just the reality of it is that men and women are different, and we do have different strengths and weaknesses. And as long as we've been married, we've managed to balance it out. And it's just been more natural for us to evolve into a more traditional roles. In other words, he mows the grass, he likes it. It's really hard on me to commit that time to mowing the grass because I multitask so much more than he does. I'm required to multitask, and he's just not very good at that. So I think that for ourselves, we have found a happy balance, for the most part, a happy balance in the more traditional roles.
All right. How long is it?
That was only 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh,
Let's see. How do you... Okay, roles, traditional... Yeah...
Still going on the
I'm
recording.
sorry. I should have added more
Oh well.
Pick another question. Let's see. Stay-at-home life. Kids, child rearing.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess we could have talked a little more about the child rearing. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Blank. I don't feel you should be required to have children.
Yeah. There's
I
a
think
question.
That, yeah, I think that traditionally a lot of pressure is put on people to have children, and I think that's wrong. I think that children enrich your life, although you can have a very rich and full life without having children. I don't think it should be a requirement. I think way too much pressure is put on that. I feel that adoption should be more freely accepted by people, and that people should not be frowned upon or thought of being as selfish, if they don't have children. I don't think it is selfish not to have children. I love having kids, but it's very, very difficult to do everything. I mean, to have a full-time job and to have a family and to have a happy marriage. I think that that's very, very few people can have all of those things perfectly. I think it's a myth. I don't think it's just too hard to do that. Something's got to give, and I think you have to learn to find someone that you can trust to help you out in those areas and to cover for you. Like, say, for instance, my husband has the job. I no longer get paid to work. Single income. What if he loses his job? If you have difficulties with your children and you're both working, who's going to watch your children, your teenage children, who might potentially still need some guidance? If we both had jobs, who would take care of that child? So yeah, it's a lot to have a healthy marriage, a good job, and to raise a family. It just, for us, it's just worked out better to divide up our efforts. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It's never easy.
Yeah, so it's hard to keep a balance between your kids' work and a husband and like a happy marriage.
Yeah,
it's very,
very much so. Or happy children. Or a happy mom.
Yeah.
I'm there are times when I am very much not happy. I actually have a brain up here, and I really don't get to use it much during the day. So it takes a lot of work for everybody to be happy and to have things balanced out. Do you agree, Director?
I'm not in this.
Haha, now you are.
I think that was good.
Okay,
yeah.
7 minutes.
That was good.
We're good?
I can edit out the stuff where we're just kind of like searching.